We got Why I Quit Destiny 2 from Gravely. It's dark times out there for the content creators. As Destiny dips in popularity, so too do the content creators and the views and the interest in general. So you're going to see a mass exodus for a period of time. Let's see what they're up to. Let's see why they're quitting. Let's see what reasons we got this time. Here it is, Why I Quit Destiny 2.
At the time of me recording this video, I have not posted any Destiny related content in about 2 months. Which, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you would know that I post pretty consistently. You know, when I'm in my flow, I will post every day, every other day. We get a lot of uploads out there. But the reason I haven't been doing so is the game is horrible, man. I don't know what else to say. I can't sugarcoat it any longer. People keep having this hope that Destiny is just gonna like magically fix itself and there's gonna be this new Forsaken type expansion that just fixes the game. It's not gonna happen. Like, I'm sorry to say it. Y'all are just clinging onto hope. And at this point, we have, reached a low that is now worse than Curse of Osiris. Y'all have probably already heard it everywhere. But yeah, the player count is worse, not just on.
It does hurt that we are in the position in Destiny 2 in year 11 where we're kind of needing a Forsaken, right? And Bungie has delivered big in the past during these really low points and helped rejuvenate the player base. The only problem is that while they have delivered well in times of emergency, we're also working with half the studio that we used to back then. And we've never launched with such poor population like the Edge of Fate. So I do think we're in uncharted territory. And I think that those who are, of the opinion that, everything's going to be fine, Bungie's going to deliver big, we don't know just yet. We don't know. I hope so, but we don't know.
On Steam, the total player count. We have genuinely reached some very dark days for this game, and you're seeing a lot of your favorite content creators taking breaks or, completely being done with the game. Like you see Datto, he's taking a break till Renegades. You see other people in the community like Above, he's also taking a break until Renegades. Pretty much all these people are miserable making content on this game because it sucks. All right, I don't know how else to say it, and I hate saying that about a game I've loved for so long. Like, Destiny has been one of the most fun games. I mean, the gameplay, the movement, there really is nothing else like it. But when you have a company that could not give less of a flying shit behind the wheel, I mean, there's not much you can really say or do. And if you're curious as to where I've been during all of this, I literally started a new channel on a completely different game. I started posting 2K content again, which if you've been following me for a very long time, you would know I actually did that before I went over to Destiny. And that channel went from about 30 subscribers to 1,000. And
from Destiny 2 to NBA 2K, now that's a crazy transition right there. He made a whole new channel for it, which, to be fair, Destiny 2 people, they're not going to watch 2K stuff. But if you like playing other games, it's smart to start another channel, I think.
Less than a month. I was just posting stuff I enjoyed. I didn't care about the viewership or anything like that. And Destiny for me has never been about viewership. I played Destiny 1, as a kid way before, I ever made a video or ever got monetized or ever made any money off it. And by the way, when you start a new YouTube channel, you make no money. You make $0. You can't monetize it until, you hit the requirements or anything like that. I just enjoy creating videos. I really do. But when a game you genuinely enjoy gets to the point that Destiny 2 is currently at, you start to kind of rethink some things. Because at first, you started making videos because it was fun, right? You had a fun time on Destiny and you really liked it. You wanted to share that with more people. You wanted to be creative. You want to do this and that. Maybe it's guides, whatever, right? You started making those videos for the purpose of having fun and enjoyment. But
stepped aside, he said comp versus literal bots. I have been watching some of these kills and I'm like, half those people aren't even shooting at you. I'm like, what the hell? I need to get in some of these lobbies, all right? Well, I need to land in here, start busting out some 1v3s again.
Eventually, you get monetized, right? And this is kind of why I was bringing that up. You get monetized, so you have a reason to keep posting even when the game is, kind of bad. Maybe the viewership is still good, but you're not really enjoying yourself. But, you're making money, so there's incentive there. And maybe you still like the community, so you have incentive. Now we're at a point where the viewership is horrible. The game is unenjoyable. And
so now you got to do it for the love of the game. You know what I'm saying? You started playing Destiny and you loved it so much that you started making content. And now Destiny is down in the dumpster. So you're left with the hard decision. Do I start playing other games, making content for those games? or do I stick with it and play Destiny even if you're making half as much money? Really, these are just the risks that you take when you try to make content in general. Or really it's actually a bigger issue that's happening, or a bigger problem that people have when they just run their own business, or, pursue being an entrepreneur. You do so, like, literally, if you look up the definition, or like the first principle of being an entrepreneur, it's like you do so at your own, like, immense financial risk, because it's much safer to work an hourly job and to, go to college, get a degree, things like that. But if you want to be online and, make videos, make money playing video games or whatever it may be, you know, if it works out, it's great. If not, it's going to be rough. So it's going to be risky. It's going to be volatile. And that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you roll the dice and your channel blows up. Like for him, for example, maybe his 2K channel blows up and he's got 1 million subs by next year. And sometimes you roll the dice and maybe you don't. It's the way she goes, though. I've been here through all the highs and lows of Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 now. It's just the way, it's just, you never know what to expect, Like, we never know what's going to happen with Renegades. It could land really well, could not. Someone in the chat says, that's exactly why I retired from graphics design. The landscape has changed so much with AI and everything else. See, that's tough, actually. It's tough that AI has stripped you of your job, or stripped you of work at the very least, right? And it's super unfair. And that's going to be happening for a lot more jobs, I think. More jobs are going to be taken from people. And because these companies, when you're in a capitalistic country, in a capitalistic market, there's not very much like morals that go on with this. Like, they'll do anything to just make another dollar. These companies, they're going to cut every corner. They're only going to do the absolute minimum of whatever sort of government regulations are put on them. This is just an unfortunate byproduct of capitalism. So you're going to see more and more companies embrace AI and any sort of automated features, even if it replaces tons of people's jobs and stuff. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's already AI produced YouTube channels. Yeah, I'm going to get replaced by AI pretty soon here. So watch out. If you see an AI Lucky 10p covering the news and drama of Destiny 2, drop a dislike for AI Lucky 10p, all right? And come by the real one. Come say hi to the real one, please. We need you.
There is genuinely next to nothing to gain from playing Destiny 2. Like I said, you don't gain enjoyment, you don't gain viewership as a content creator, because guess what? Nobody new is playing the damn game. The new player experience is horrible in Destiny 2. It is one of the worst I have seen from any game. If I was loading up the game for the first time in 2025, I would have turned it off within the first 30 minutes to an hour. It is so goddamn confusing, and it doesn't really tell you anything. As a matter of fact, if you don't have a seasoned veteran friend holding your hand, you aren't going to know the half of what to do.
So I have conflicting opinions about this. I agree that the new player experience is bad, and it obviously needs to improve. It would be a lot better if sunsetting never happened, right? This is the common points that are paired together with this. Like, for example, sunsetting the Red War campaign definitely makes it very confusing when you come in as a new player. But I would argue that you should still have a better onboarding experience. But my main argument is that the gunplay itself is the main selling point for Destiny 2. That when you watch Destiny 2 gameplay, or when you jump into the game, you start to shoot the guns and you feel how, like, visceral they are, and the sounds and the, just the graphic fidelity is incredible of the game. And really that's what sells you, like, gives you the opportunity to get a taste for Destiny 2. And it should lead you into an incredible new player experience and onboarding experience. I don't know that it ever has been extremely good necessarily. It's hard for me to describe, because, like, my new player onboarding experience was just being, like, thrown headfirst into Destiny 1. I remember, you just kind of hit the ground running. This is like pre YouTube videos or explanations. I just really liked the gunplay, But I think that what's happening now is, in the current gaming industry and climate, there's other games that have incredible gunplay. There's other games that are free to play. And we're not necessarily losing people for the quality of Destiny 2, which it is in part due to that, but also just the competition is getting way more steep. Other games are just doing so much better and acquiring tons of new people. And Destiny 2 is kind of drowning in the competition, in my opinion. And I think that Destiny 2 could do a lot better. Like I said, they should still work to improve the onboarding experience, but the competition is pretty brutal right now, especially when you look at all these companies, like for example, EA was just bought by like a Saudi Arabian company for like $55 billion. Like there's some crazy big players in this space that have way too much money.
And guess what? With the current state of the game, if that friend ends up quitting, which they probably will, then you're stuck. You have nowhere to go, and you don't know what the hell is even going on. Now, don't get me wrong, though. That is far, very far away from being the only problem in the game right now. Basically, every mode sucks, if I'm just being honest. I mean, PvP is a very big one, especially because for the last 3 or 4 years, we have gotten no support whatsoever. And if you guys haven't, been looking at Twitter or anything recently, Control is actually consistently the most played activity in the game. Now, obviously, if you add all the PvE activities together, PvE is more played than PvP, but Control is logging more hours individually than any other activity.
That's crazy. I didn't actually think about that in terms of the stats. Let me go look at that real quick. So this is most played activities in the last 60 days. So Control PvP has 2.9 million hours. So people are sinking more time into match-made Control in PvP than anywhere else, at least in terms of a 1-to-1 ratio, comparing this to something else. And obviously there's a lot more PvE things, like you said. So when you cumulatively add it up, it's of course significantly more PvE oriented. But this is actually pretty interesting to me. It's interesting that that many people are jumping into Control. What are they doing in there? What are you guys doing in Control?
That is, it's kind of telling that there is a lot of people who enjoy PvP. And for that crowd that still wants to say, well, it's a PvE game, look at the numbers. Look at the DLCs where PvP was fun and enjoyable, and look at the ones where it hasn't been. All I'm going to say.
I would say this. I would say that Destiny 2, it's nuanced, but the Destiny 2 is primarily a PvE game. That is the main focus of where the story goes for the game, right? Where like the lore, the narrative, the activities by and large are going to be PvE, and PvP is kind of tacked onto it as an afterthought. It does work really well with the ecosystem where you can take PvE weapons into PvP. So the two go together in tandem nicely, but PvP is definitely not drive this game forward. Like this game is not meant to be a PvP first game by any means. I just think that there's a lot of people in gaming in general that really enjoy PvP. It's very challenging no matter what game you play. And Destiny 2 offers a unique PvP experience, really nice gunplay, really fun movement, and maybe less sweaty than some other games out there. Like obviously there's some games out there that are, there's got like MLG pros and stuff and people that are aspiring to win world championships and big cash prizes. Destiny 2 doesn't have any of that. So when you play Destiny 2 PvP, you generally speaking can get a more chilled experience than maybe some of those super sweaty games out there. And obviously skill-based matchmaking, makes it so if you're really bad at PvP, you're going to play other people who are really bad. So maybe actually have some fun and stand a chance out there.
There is some telling things there. And obviously, I'm not even going to begin to go into Trials of Osiris. That mode has lost its identity and just needs to be completely removed. That shit makes no sense. I don't even know, man. It is so goddamn much to say with PvP. But I think the big thing is, maybe Bungie's realizing that not paying attention to the mode and completely neglecting it has caused a lot of people to not play the game anymore. Because, I'm going to speak for myself and a lot of my friends. Our gameplay loop has always been playing PvE, grinding out weapons so then we can use those in PvP. And I would like to think a lot of other people think the same way. They grind out these weapons, they want to test them in the Crucible, they want to see how strong they are, they want to get those god roll combos. But now it doesn't even matter. It's also gotten to a point where Bungie has promised things that have just blatantly not happened. Y'all remember the PvP strike team?
Where did they go? Yeah, where did they go?
Where the hell did they go, man? Where the hell did they go? We were supposed to be getting some maps and this and that. We haven't gotten shit. All right, the only maps we got were like that Circus Plaza and Dissonance. Jesus Christ.
He called it Circus Plaza. It's so good.
Man, and then what was before that? Disjunction? Holy shit, these are some of the worst maps in the game. Who is even over there? How is Dissonance and Disjunction still in a game? I mean,
honestly, that PvP strike team absolutely did not cook. They rightfully probably should have been disbanded. We're gonna need to, get some new hires up for the next PvP strike team.
not gonna let this go. Nobody likes these maps. Are we just like hurting people's feelings to remove them or whatever? Like, I don't understand. Maybe you can revitalize the maps for some certain modes in the future, but those do not belong in PvP. Nobody likes them. They have maybe like maybe 5% of the community is like, man, this junction, that's pretty good right there. That's pretty good. And to that guy, he needs an IQ test because that shit is room 10. Like, I don't know what else to say. If you're liking those maps,
where are the disjunction apologists at? All right, they're gonna be very upset in the comments here.
You're part of the problem. And you know, while we're on the topic of terrible things in the game, you know what's just as bad as the maps we've gotten? The loot. Who the hell is deciding what loot comes out, man? Like,
Bro's really going after all of it, dude. He's got all the topics locked in. The loot is scuffed for PvP players.
Steady Hand, for an example. One of the best hand cannons in the game that has been extremely sought after for years. We have not seen it since Season 13. That was like 4 years ago. So if you didn't get it back then, you're just shit out of luck. You literally cannot get the gun. Who is making these decisions? Or better yet, another example, the OG Celerity Igneous Hammer, the best roll you can get on Igneous, completely out of the game. If you didn't get it back, around Season 13, same time of Steady Hand, you just can't get it.
The FOMO is real.
It's genuinely impossible to get the gun. There are so many, instances of that, and it's even, happening to some exotics now. I know the Borrowed Dad SMG, you can't get that either. Like, it's just out of the game. If you didn't get it, the 1 or whatever 2 seasons it was out, you don't have it. It's not in the kiosk. It's just unobtainable. And by the way, I'm not even mentioning the awful tiering system. And before anyone comments like, well, the tiering system was good in theory, but yeah, it actually was good in theory. You're not wrong about that. But when you use it and basically soft sunset 90% of the game to make it just not worth playing whatsoever, it's horrible. And I can't excuse it at all. There's like 2 or 3 activities.
I think maybe he's conflating the portal with the tiered system. I think the tiered system as a standalone system of loot is not necessarily bad. It being tied to the portal and therefore power progression is really what drags it down. If I were to clarify, I think maybe those points there.
That are worth playing if you want to grind up your power. What are we doing, man? Nobody asked for this shit. Part of the reason I fell in love with Destiny 1 was the loot was so exciting to chase after. And when you got something like an exotic, you were flipping your shit. They were rare, they were unique. Now all the exotics are just like a new way for Bungie to sell something. Like that's literally what it is. It's not unique, it's not innovative, they aren't hard to get. There's nothing they might as well be commons if I'm just being honest, man.
And this is going to happen over time no matter how Bungie chooses to approach it if you think about it, right? Because regardless if you call it exotic, legendary, whatever, you create a whole new tier of weapon, call it, the black armor weapons like we've talked about. Weapons have only a limited number of functionalities to them. You shoot the weapon and when you get a kill, it does more damage, or you shoot the weapon and it fires faster, or or some weapons have better handling or better reload, or maybe they have dual functionality. Like they sometimes shoot in one way and then you hold R and they shoot in another way. There's only maybe so many different directions that weapons can go in general. So there will be a level of after you've played a game for 11 years, it's going to get bland to some degree. It's important to try to keep innovating and keep it spiced up and creative. But sometimes it can be tough, right? Like how creative can we get, until every weapon has 2 damage perks on it, crazy handling, crazy reload, 3 different functionalities. Sometimes it's a hand cannon, sometimes it's a shotgun, sometimes it's a rocket launcher. It's that is cool in thought, but it's it is going to be a lot of the same, right? It is going eventually after so many years, you're going to when you see him shoot the hand cannon he's shooting right now, and you go back to D1 and look at what a palindrome looked like in D1, it still visually looks the same. It might have different perks, it might have different handling and reload, but at the end of the day, you hip fire it or you ADS it, and it fires at a certain RPM. There's going to be a level of consistency, and it's going to get old after a period of time, whether you play Destiny for 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. It will get old. The magic of it, the allure of it will get a little bit old. But I don't know how you can fix that problem to some degree, because it still has to remain Destiny, right? You can't just get so bored with the way hand cannons function, that you just make the game completely different and change all the weaponry. Like that would be a problem in and of itself. So it's an interesting dilemma that he brings up here, actually.
Destiny 1, I remember getting Thorn or Bad Juju. You had to turn in a shit ton of bounties and just hope and pray and get lucky that you got an exotic bounty and it was the right one. That chase and that feeling, we don't have anything like that in D2. It's so...
That is true. We don't have that exact feeling for some things in D2. Sometimes, yes. A good example is like exotics that you get from doing a raid. You know, they would be a random chance for those dropping. And even now you can farm infinitely and occasionally you'll get it to drop. Like, for example, if you want to go in Vault of Glass right now, you can kill Atheon and there's a chance Vexmith class drops for you. But if it doesn't, you can kill Atheon again and again and again until eventually it does. And then you can be excited for it. The only problem with some of those systems is that it does create RNG, and you get like people that get like crazy bad RNG, and then there used to be like resets, loot resets every Tuesday, and so it creates some of its own problems. I don't know. I think that system, it's fun, but when it locks the whole weapon behind RNG, it's a little more problematic. I think that locking the god roll or a better version of the weapon behind RNG is better. So that way you can like get the weapon and you can have maybe the god roll, maybe not, and then keep playing to maybe get a better version of the weapon. So that way you at least have like the base value of the weapon. I think that I would miss the days of D1 though, like when you would randomly get an exotic. It felt really good. I just think that system did get a little bit old as well. You know, like those things, you can't just do the same thing for 50 years in the game and expect people to be jazzed about it 40 years into playing the game, right? You do have to mix up the systems, and it has to be an evolution of things, you know, and where we've gotten with loot in the game is it's an evolution of things, you know. People got burnt out on the god roll stuff for a while, so they're like, Bungie's like, hey, let's do this like crafting thing. What if you always got the god roll? What if you just had to play the activity enough over and over and again? You got the red borders, and then you get the red borders, you can go craft them, and you craft, and then you get the exact god roll you want. And then people got burnt out on that, and so now we're kind of adjusting and living in maybe a sort of hybrid area. And then you have tiered weaponry. You know, it's going to keep evolving, right? And when you look back, each system and each year, or maybe 2 years, however long it takes them to overhaul these systems, should look like a more archaic version than the current system, which is what I argue with the current loot system and the tiered system. I think it's a better version of what we had in the past. And I think that tiered loot 1 through 5 is a great way of doing things. You jump in the game, and let's say there's a brand new hand cannon in Crucible. It randomly drops. You know, you jump in the game, you get a tier 1 drop of it right off the bat. So you at least get to look at the weapon, you get to get a feel for it. But then there's also that thought in your mind like, oh man, this is what a tier 1 feels like. I bet a tier 2 god roll feels better, a tier 3, tier 4. So then you begin to grind and level up and play the game. And in the process, you should be having fun. You know, you should be playing activities. And there's this like carrot at the end of the stick where you're like, man, when I get leveled up to a high enough level, and when I play a Crucible match, there's a chance that this fucking crazy weapon can drop for me. And it could even be a hollow foil. That is exactly what you're talking about right here. Like, you should be really stoked for these tier 5s in theory. Not everyone is necessarily. Maybe people have a little bit of Destiny 2 fatigue. Maybe they have a little bit of God roll fatigue to some degree. But, you know, when you look at how impressive a tier 5 hollow foil is, tier 5 god roll hollow foil of a weapon that you really like, that should get you pretty excited, and that should hopefully get you playing the game. For some, yes, others maybe no.
Soulless. And honestly, I could go on and on and on about all the problems in Destiny 2, but I'm just done, man. Like, I'm genuinely done. I wanted to make this video just to give you guys an update as to where I'm at. I mean, I don't know what I'm really going to do with this channel yet. I will probably post something else.
He's out, dude. He's gone.
In the future. But as for right now, if you guys just want to see my videos, I'm posting on the 2K channel. That's what I'm enjoying right now. That's what I'm posting. So you guys want to see it, that's where I'm at. But either way, definitely gonna be gone for a while on this channel for sure. Maybe if Destiny gets better, we'll come back, but it's not looking so good. Anyways, I appreciate y'all watching. It's been Gravely. Peace.
All right, there you have it. Guardian down, another one gone. We have Why I Quit Destiny 2. And I like watching these videos just because I like to see where people are at in terms of their headspace and what's frustrating them for Destiny 2. Hopefully the game does get better and we get, you know, them back in the game. But alternatively, you know, taking breaks is always good. You don't necessarily have to quit, but, you know, if that's how you're really feeling, you're very passionate about, then quit, obviously, do your thing. But taking breaks is always good in games in general. I don't think Destiny 2 can suffice or can, I would say, satiate the player that's been around for every expansion every year. There's just, you chew through the content too fast. When something new comes out, man, I swear it's like if you've been playing Destiny for a while, you get all the good stuff in such a short amount of time. It would be nice if Bungie could add enough to the game that everyone could always have something to do and always grind. Like that's the dream, of course, but we're definitely far from those days, that's for sure. We're in a whole different era. Take breaks and expect to log into Destiny 2, have fun for maybe a period of time, and then have to log into something else and maybe come back in a week or so when something new drops. Let me know what you think down in the comments below.